Now welcome our guest, Natasha Kudita. Fine art, she's a creative again, visual artist, and we're going to get into what that means, and also using new media for our own traditional art. So it's really brilliant to start talking about it. I tell you what, I love Women Crush Wednesdays, it's fantastic. Natasha Kudita. Natasha, welcome to Morning Rush.
Hi, Andy.
I like that, hi. You know what I love about it? I love the smiles every morning. It just puts me in a great mood. Natasha, talk to me, because I see here, visual artist, recent graduate, University of Pretoria. You obtained a BA in fine art after majoring in new media, conceptual photography, and digital picture making. Now, okay, there's a lot there, right? Yes. You're talking new media. Let's go through this, okay?
Okay.
New media, conceptual photography, and digital picture making. New media. What is new media?
So when people hear the word art, they assume it's the traditional media, such as painting and drawing. New media is when you look at introducing technology into traditional art forms. So combining things like painting and projection, or sculpture and digital art. So that's what is meant by new media.
All right, okay, so, I see your point. Yeah, but you're right, though, because when people do art, I think of a painting of a horse or a nice garden and something. But actually, then you talk about conceptual photography and digital picture making. But when I always think about digital picture making, I always think about all those NFT stuff. That's stuff that they sell online, right?
Yeah.
Is that's all that we're talking about here?
No.
Oh, right, okay. Talk about getting embarrassed. So talk to me about those two issues.
Okay, just before I talk about that,
Please.
I did actually explore the NFT space when there was that whole craze.
Yeah.
So that is another avenue for artists to get themselves out there.
Isn't it? Yeah, because we're selling monkeys or something, weren't they? Funny things.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, so let's talk to me about conceptual photography and digital picture making.
Okay, so when I say conceptual, it's about visual storytelling. So what I like about art is that it's a communication tool to connect with an audience and connect with a wider network.
Okay, all right. But digital picture making, is that sort of, is it, I don't know, I don't know if the word is fake, but is it taking a picture and doing something with it? Sorry, because I'm not, you're the expert here, you're sort of schooling me. What do you do when you do digital picture making?
Okay, so often when I'm going about in town, I capture my images. And
you take a picture?
Yes, so that's what we call a reference image. Okay. And then I transform it using digital software such as Adobe Illustrator and Adobe InDesign.
Okay.
So that's what's meant by digital picture making. You're taking something original and adding your own twist to it.
Oh, even changing the colors or the background, whatever you want.
Yes.
Okay, you just have a basis as a picture.
Yes.
All right, so let's talk about your this sort of influence that you have, because it seems that you're very much, whatever you do seems to always break down to our traditional art. Is that what you normally do when you do a painting? I mean, I've seen some of your paintings, and I can see that they're spectacular, which, of course, I will tell you where to go and see them. They're really, really good, by the way. I've got a whole sort of catalogue here with me. But talk to me about that. I mean, what is the influence that you have in terms of your heritage, or Zimbabwe, or traditional art?
Okay, so I'd like to start by saying that Africa is a very rich center of knowledge. So Zimbabwe is where I get most of my inspiration. But a little bit about my cultural background. My mom is South African and my dad is Zimbabwean. So it's also about exploring that dual heritage and bringing that narrative, because some people can resonate with it and relate to it.
So, but then you also talk about traditional painting techniques. I mean, I must be honest, this is getting great. Guys, I tell you what, this is brilliant. I love talking about this. What about traditional painting techniques? What are they? I mean, this is, what is a traditional painting technique? I mean,
so it's basically painting. I started off falling in love with oil painting. Okay. That was during my third year in university. Right. And then when I got to my final year, that's when I started introducing new media and digital art. So I like to explore a range of materials.
And what about your upbringing? Does that also play a part in what you want to draw, what you want to represent, what you want to show people? How?
So my art is about celebrating our surroundings, just the beauty of our culture, the people, and the shared experiences that we all have. In terms of my upbringing, my mom and my sister are the leading figures in my life, and they've been supportive of my dreams from a very early age. Right. So I think it's very important for parental figures to encourage people to pursue creative disciplines. It's just about how you maximize your talents and expand.
Okay, now one thing that unfortunately in Zimbabwe is some of these disciplines, they don't make, you can't make a living from them, unfortunately. A lot of artists are struggling, whether they be singers or painters or visual artists or dancers, even comedians. You know, it's hard to find that kind of big enough audience for it to become a sustainable living, and they're not getting the support from various art bodies or government. What do you think about that, particularly your area, visual arts, and let's take the painting artist side of it, if I can call it that. What are you seeing in terms of that support and in terms of the industry?
Well, I think there is a limited amount of resources. In my case, getting access to funding and artist grants. But I've worked around that and built a strong online social media presence. And that has put me forward in the global context. So when you have a strong online presence, you have more of a wider reach. And what I've noticed is that out there, well, the international market is where it's at in terms of art. And I would love for that to be the case in Zimbabwe as well.
So I mean, so what? You have different avenues, if I can call it that. Obviously, you'd want to put your stuff in galleries, of course, for people to come and see it, hopefully at home. But also, then you can also travel with your arted pieces. But the real reach and the place where people can actually buy your paintings or actually is through social media. How do you do that? What platforms do you use to achieve that? Is the usual suspects, or how do you do this?
It's mostly Facebook and Instagram. Can I give myself a shout out?
Yeah, of course you can. Of course, this is why you're here, aren't you? Yes, Women's Crush. Give your shout out all you like.
So on Instagram, my handle is fineart_by_Tash, and on Facebook, it's Natasha Kudita.
Fineart_by_Tash.
Yes.
That's under Instagram and Facebook.
Natasha Kudita.
Natasha Kudita. And okay, but how do you monetize? So people contact you there, and if they like the painting, they can buy it or something. How does it work there? Because are these originals?
Yes, they are originals.
So once it's sold, that's it. Done.
Well, I do have originals, and I also have things called editions where, let's say you have a certain size and there's 20 of them, and once you've sold 20, then it becomes sold out. So it's about...
Oh, I see. So limited editions.
Yes.
Oh, I hear you. I hear you. But you hang on. So, but you don't do 20. You don't do 20 paintings, do you?
No.
Yeah, you just do one and then you do reproductions.
Yes.
I was going to say.
Yes.
Otherwise, they'd all be unique, wouldn't they?
Yes.
All right. And where do you actually then show your your stuff here in Zimbabwe? There must be a gallery you use. What?
Yes, I've had a few local exhibitions. For example, there was Pikicha Gallery in Helensvale. It's a new gallery, and I've also shown my work in the UK and in Nigeria. But locally, what I have done is built a home studio where people can come and view the work. Because when you look at something in person, it impacts you more, I feel.
Yeah, no, definitely. You're right. Yeah, I mean, it's true. When you look at a picture online, and you're looking at online, but if I see it in real life.
Yes.
So what about mentoring? Are you mentoring anyone? I mean, I know you've just finished Pretoria. I know it's probably you're young. It's probably a tough question. But do you think that's something that you do? Like if you built your own studio, does that not mean that you can then start bringing in students and start teaching them? I suppose to make a little bit of extra money, which always helps, right? And also to pass on your skills to the new generation. What are your thoughts about that?
So I'm currently teaching art and design at a high school from Form 1 to Form 4. So it's definitely a privilege to witness the amount of creative talent that our youth has to offer.
Yeah. Future. What's your future plans? I mean, obviously you must have them, I would assume. Ambitions. What are you planning for this year or going into next year, 2025?
Yes, I'd like to have a solo exhibition in Zimbabwe because that's my base, and then I'd like to expand my reach globally.
So you don't, why haven't you had a solo yet? Is it something you need to get all the paintings up and build?
Yes, I need to build a solid collection.
All right, okay, perfect. Right, so just repeat again for us where I know you've been featured in all sorts of magazines. I know you've been featured in Out Harare, that's a media outlet such as Out Harare, The Herald, Meet the CEO Global on DSTV, Hype Beast Africa, Harare Magazine, and Samoa Central. I mean, this is giving you a profile. And the feedback, I know we have to wind up, unfortunately, but what would be your advice to aspiring visual artists, those who like this medium? Because I think it's an exciting medium. It's a new medium. It's outside of that painting, visual or surrealist and all these funny Renaissance paintings and painting of horses.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I know everyone loves horses, but I don't understand why you'd buy a painting
like
of a horse. I don't want to buy one. But what would you say to them quickly?
Okay, I'd like to say that you should be confident in what you're putting out. Art is about finding what works for you, not what everyone else expects from you.
Right.
And your art is worth creating.
Right. Now, well, finally, before I close up, just how to contact you, how to get hold of your arts and so forth.
Instagram, Fine Art by Tash. That's fineart_by Tash. And on Facebook at Natasha Kudita.
Natasha, thank you. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and we wish you
Thank
really
you.
great success in your career.
Konapo, Ipapo pa ZTN Prime, DSTV channel 294, the place to be.